Hey everybody, it's Joesph, and we're doing something kind of special. This is going to be a continued series called Maple Thorn Explained. This is where we explain our horror ARG series, Maple Thorn. This will consist of a lot of things, a lot of confusion, but hopefully in the end you guys can understand. That's why we're making this.
Yep. So if you guys know, we do have a channel called Maple Thorn. We got influence from Marble Hornets, if you know them. So Derek, kind of introduce us on what Maple Thorn is.
Alright, before we do that, I think it'd be appropriate to tell you guys that this explain thing is going to be basically the story. So if you're curious as to what the story is in Maple Thorn, because I know that some of you guys from our channel have seen the channel, and you might be thinking, these videos have no correlation with each other whatsoever, but we actually had a story that was set from day one, but it evolved and it grew into something more until to the point where we're at now, where we are 2 videos away from completing the series, and we think that it would be a great idea to do the Maple Thorn Explain. But without any further ado, Maple Thorn, like we said, is a horror series that we made up based off of Marble Hornets, so it has something to do with creepypastas, aka Slenderman, and characters from Marble Hornets like their Masky and Hoodie. Maple Thorn centers around primarily three supposedly college students, which we were trying to play. Go through lots of paranormal events and scary events, I guess you could say, and other than that is the basis. But
let's just go ahead and start off with our main character, Kenny Martin.
Okay, Kenny Martin is played by me, Nick Ziegenhorn, and he's your everyday college student. He's
there to get good grades.
Yeah.
Basically, that's about it.
So Kenny, he is taking Advanced Videography, and that's what he's majoring in. So he pretty much carries a camera on him at all times. You can see where this is going.
Yeah.
So Kenny, originally living in Boone, Iowa, moved to Mapletown for college, and that's where he met some other, college friends that are included in the series. But Kenny, while he's here, he, for the majority of his time, he uses his camera for his class, for specific events that start going on, until things start to go haywire, and then he starts using them for his personal use. So, and in the series, you can see how Kenny's relationships with other characters evolve, and how it majorly centers around him and his experiences, due to him having the camera most of the time.
Oh yes, and Kenny, disclaimer, he is probably the most too sane, I guess. He's basically your everyday person. He doesn't have any mental problems, any physical disabilities, nothing like that would halter him or create something more out of his mental state, I guess, like to other characters in the series that we will explain and talk about later. But yeah, Kenny is probably the most normal in the head. And anything else you have to say about him?
No, that's pretty much the basics of him, and we'll get into more things about him and other characters in later videos.
This is just kind of a rough look at the characters, basically a short little introduction, and so yeah,
to get you guys comfortable.
Yeah, we'll cover more of it later, but I think going in chronological order, we should go with Rick.
So Rick Petrenko is played by me, Daniel. So basically, Rick was born June 18th, 1994. He is currently the oldest character in the series. He was born in Waverly, Iowa, and he moved to Mapletown at the age of 5 due to his parents splitting up. So his dad moved to Mapletown, so he moved to Mapletown with his dad. And at the age of 17, he worked with his father at a electronics repair company. So he's kind of, fixing TVs.
Definitely in the beginning of the series for an introduction to the character. He's around fixing our TV almost every single time he appears, so.
Yeah, so, and then he worked there from his senior year of high school to all through college. And he went to college to study, he minored in advanced videography, and he majored in law. So he met Kenny due to his college class because they were partners on this project. So a little backstory of Rick. He developed a personality disorder, and as you see throughout the series, he is also Toby. And Toby was his biological brother who was unfortunately miscarried due to like birth defects and other stuff. So so he wanted to, you know, have another brother in his life. So he kind of pretended to be like his brother. So he developed this personality disorder, and his dad found out about it shortly, and started putting him on medications to keep him from, you know, going into this other, you know, alter ego. And so that's how he is Toby also. So yeah, he's one of the main characters in the series. He tends to spend most of his time in the midst of action. So he's kind of a leader due to his law enforcement. He was
due to his role as a police officer.
Yeah, he was part-time in the local sheriff's department. And yeah, so anything else you guys think?
It sounds about good.
No, just that yeah, the character Toby is very influenced by Tiki Toby, and that is another creepypasta that is like another one of Slenderman's, you know, like it's like a Tim, or like it's like a Masky and Hoodie character, but you know it's Tiki Toby. So I think it would be important to kind of explain.
So yeah, so due to all the occurrences going on in Maple Thorn and all the strange, weird things, Rick eventually dropped out of college and quit his job at the quit his job as a police officer due to his mental disorder and the occurrences in the series. So his mental disorder got the best of him, and you'll see that throughout this whole series. Next on our list is probably Dale. So why don't you take it away?
So Dale might be one of the longer character backstories just because of his role in the series. He was born into a family that was very poor and didn't have a lot of resources. And, you know, Dale had two brothers. One of them was adopted since his father left at a young age too, probably around the same time he was born. And, you know, another man filled in that void of a father for him. And so his two brothers are Steve Allen and you have Mike Allen. With Dale Allen, those are the three brothers in the series that you will see throughout. Most likely you're going to see Steve. Mike really didn't show up in a lot of them, but at a very young age, Dale was looked at as a bad kid because he would have outbursts in class, and, you know, his mom couldn't handle him being sent home anymore, and just, you know, all this stuff. So she quickly dispersed the three of the brothers into different places. Now, Dale was the unlucky one of the bunch and got sent to a place called St. Joseph's, which is located close to Mapletown, actually, which is why he's kind of in that college with them. I'm not going to go into detail about Steve or Mike because really they were both just sent into other mental institutes too because they also had outlashes and stuff. But Dale grew up in St. Joseph's with Tim and Brian and Jeff. So those three are like basically the other brothers to him. They are his best friends, the only people that he knows from St. Joseph's. And going deeper into their relationship, Tim and Brian and Jeff and Dale, they were probably the I guess most troublemaking of the bunch, and they were still looked at as bad kids, treated very poorly, bullied, whatever. Now, where does Dale come into play with all of this with Kenny and Rick? Well, Dale and Tim one night decided to go sneak out into the woods, which is very forbidden for any of the kids because every time any kid would go near the woods, he'd complain about being sick, he'd complain about feeling nauseous, and then he'd eventually be stuck in a hospital until maybe death, until he felt better. It just they never knew. So they fenced off the woods and they never let the kids go back there. But Dale and Tim, they snuck through the St. Joseph Cemetery where there were no fences, and they went into the woods back there, and Dale and Tim were seeing things that they could never unsee, especially for such a young age, probably maybe 10 years old. And sadly, Tim got left behind as Dale ran out of the woods screaming, looking for anyone to help him. He could have sworn he was dead, but he got out of there alive and was immediately bashed and punished because of going back there. But he was more focused on the fact that Tim could very well be dead and he has no idea why. But he swears that there's people in the woods and they're watching all of us all the time, and they immediately assumed that Dale was a killer, and Dale was a very troubled child, and he killed Tim. But searchers never found a body, and they could never find out where Tim was. And so Dale was shipped off to the same college that Rick and Kenny went to, that had special classes for people who were so called convicted of doing a crime. But the thing is that Dale never really went to court or got arrested. They have him on parole early on in the series. But the reason why Kenny and Dale have a relationship in the series is because Kenny wanted to film what it was like to be in the middle of one of those outbursts, being forced together to be roommates. They had no choice, they couldn't really decide for themselves who they were going to be with, and he decided to start recording Dale's outbursts, which quickly grew into something a lot more than just the outbursts. So those are like
the three main characters.
Yeah, the introductions to the three main characters, Kenny, Rick, and Dale.
Yes, and going into more detail, I think we should do Tim and Brian, since they both appear in the series. I'll go with Tim real quick. So Tim grew up in a pretty normal house, actually. There wasn't a lot of fighting, there wasn't a lot of conflict, but only until he was probably 6 or 7 years old. And well, to cut it short here, his mom was actually murdered by his stepdad. So with that being said, his stepdad couldn't be trusted. His mother was dead. There was no one to take care of him, and he had to go to St. Joseph's too with Dale and Brian and all that. So Tim was, of course, the one that went missing, and we will touch upon more of why or how he went missing and the impact it had on the series. But so far, that's all I'm going to say about Tim. Just his backstory and what led up to the events so far.
And also, Tim is played by Peyton Borseth, who is also a team member for Toy SOG. So,
yes, very well respected. Been a friend that we've all been friends since like the 3rd, 2nd grade. So,
yeah.
And after Tim comes Brian. Brian, he's like out there. He's not as direct as Tim, as you will see.
He's kind of a low-key type of person.
Yeah.
So he basically, throughout the series, has the most behavioral changes. So
Definitely.
He's kind of like, he goes from friend to friend. He's with you some of the time. He's with Tim. He's with Kevin. He's with, all these, people.
Yes, and we'll touch upon Kevin later too. But like, Brian is he's very sociopathic. He doesn't like to be social, which means that he doesn't know really who to agree with or who to disagree with, since he's never really been around people. So that's why you can see him being with Tim, or being with Tim, being with Kevin, being with Kenny, whoever it may be, you know.
As you can tell, Brian, he doesn't care about others' feelings, and you'll see that
Definitely.
throughout the series.
Yeah, so
He's very persuasive too.
he's kind of a backstabber too. So he's not a friend
Definitely.
to be trusted.
Like a frenemy.
Yeah. You'll see throughout the whole series that he starts off, fine. His personality, he's fine. Not a very troubled kid. He's just very quiet. He's like the shy guy in the corner who...
Yeah, the reason why he was sent to St. Joseph's in the first place is because his parents thought that it was like, oh, a school for where these kids go and they can have a successful future. Like, it was almost like a private school, but they soon realized that it wasn't, and they didn't know what to do because Brian started to develop these issues with being social, and he would have outbursts like, Tim and Dale would, just for, like, reference. So his parents, they kind of abandoned Brian, which is kind of why Brian might not know who to trust all the time or whose side to be on. So Brian's parents probably, left the state maybe, and, he had no parents to take care of him, and basically was at the hands of anything, especially at a young age. His mind is so susceptible to things like, death, violence, drugs, stuff like that. He, just a troubled kid, and he never really had any chances to really get out of that stage.
Yeah, he kind of just thought, like, everything around him was okay, so he got influences from you and Tim, so he kind of hung out with them more because they went to the same facility.
So those are pretty much all the characters that have been introduced for main parts.
Yeah.
The three central characters are Dale, Kenny, and Rick, but kind of off of that is Tim and Brian. They play major parts.
So yeah, if you kind of have listened to us, the more, I guess, disciplined or more behavioral, I guess, kids are basically the kids who didn't grow up with parents, grew up with poor households or on the streets. So
yeah, even death too at some parts of their lives.
And you can tell that St. Joseph's is a major part to their lives because that's where they got introduced to each other.
Yes, and St. Joseph's is looked at as like a resting home for kids because, they have a whole cemetery for kids that died at either a young age or to some mysterious reason, and their bodies were found in the woods, which nobody really knows as to why these kids were just found dead. There were no signs, no evidence, nobody could be prosecuted for it. So these kids were just dying, and they were being mutilated and disemboweled and dismembered and stuff, and they didn't know why.
They never contacted parents of the children.
They never
either.
contacted parents because a lot of the staff there and the board members, they just thought that these parents knew that they were dropping their kids off here for good. A lot of them were probably used to parents saying, I don't want to see my kids anymore, I want them to stay here, I don't want to see them, I can't deal with it, too much stress. So
And it's very lucky for some of the kids to even get out of the school
yeah,
Dale.
so if you think
Tim and
about it,
Brian.
it's kind of like a foster home or something like that for disciplined kids. But in the end, it turns out to
be a pretty terrible place.
basically brainwashing them with a certain pill that we're going to go over right now.
Oh yes, okay, so the pills in this series were given out to a lot of the kids that had outbursts and behavioral issues, and as you can see in the early files, these were given to Dale, and these have been given to Dale at a very young age, probably ever since they thought that he murdered Tim, but they've been given to Dale for a long time. But the thing is that the pills don't really help. They just make the kids addicted to them, which means that they need medication almost all of the time, and they can't go even 15 minutes without a pill because they'll have an outburst, and it's just like an addiction that they need to feed all the time. Especially with people like Brian and Tim, they think that they need the pill so much that they take they overdose on them and almost die in this series on several occasions.
Yeah, so in the school, they basically show the kids what the pills do and how they make you better, and they're just brainwashing them into taking these pills, which actually don't help. But as my character Rick, he doesn't take the same pills as they do, so he actually takes pills for his disorder, his
Yes.
personality disorder. So little misconception there if you guys have watched Maple Thorn. But, so Rick uses those pills for when, he, feels that he's going to, turn into his other, like, alter ego. And he shortly realized that he didn't need him anymore. He went too crazy off of him. So basically the same way how you guys felt, but it's basically addicted to these pills. But Kenny never took the pills, never been around them. So but we're gonna be doing season 1 and season 2 like fully explained, and then we're gonna do a season 3 and a season 4 combined and explained, and then the last one we're going to do is a season 5 explained, and that is going to be
That's
the
most
most
likely.
interesting, and
Probably
that's
the longest, and we're also gonna add in the always watching videos.
yeah,
as
and
much
they
as we
explained
can.
on what always watching is, and
If you couldn't tell, Always Watching is part of the series. We'll have links to both channels in the description, and that's where you can check them both out. So.
We're gonna leave it at that. We're gonna see how this goes, and hopefully, if it's well received and liked by you guys, we'll continue making them. But we just need as much feedback as possible coming from our viewers, and I know we have 1,000 subscribers, which you guys are very well loved for not making a video or anything. We are so grateful for you guys because this is
so-
our most successful YouTube channel, and we're hoping that we can spread you guys more of our work through this video. Not trying to be like sellouts or trying to promote our other stuff, but we thought it'd be kind of a fun idea, and since it's our creation, we like to see how it unfolds. But you guys deserve everything for sticking with us. Some of you guys have been here since day one,
yeah, so
including probably us three for our other channels, but you guys deserve everything for supporting us through everything, and complimenting us on our videos. And for those of you who comment, I am so grateful for you guys. And if you're not commenting on our videos, start doing it, because
We
I
need
wanna
as
hear-
much
need-
feedback
yeah, we
as
need-
possible.
yeah,
We need
especially with videos
ideas.
like this that are going to end up being 30 minutes long. We got to know what you guys think about it too.
yeah, so actually we're close to hitting 1,500 subscribers. So
Sorry about no video for 1,000.
Exactly.
we actually here's the thing. We actually made a video, but it never got through the computer.
It was
or-
corrupted.
Yeah, so this is
So thank
basically
you.
our thank you. So
Yeah,
we're
we're
gonna
sorry
be
that-
Special, but don't worry about it. 1,500, we got a
We
video
will make
coming.
a video. We have something very special planned out for that video too. I think you guys are gonna like it. For all of you that have been here since, 4 or 5
Who
years
knows?
ago.
yeah.
Thank
so,
you.
I think this wraps up the introduction for Maple Thorn Explained. One quick little thing. Maple Thorn is actually based in Raymond, Iowa. So Mapletown is not a real place, but it's
Yeah.
basically, this thing that we came up with at a very young age. We all
Okay.
got together,
We actually came up with Mapletown way before we even thought of this series.
Yeah,
Yes.
so, and I would say, I guess, the first few seasons are actually, not very well made. We were kind of,
We're pretty young.
yeah, we were pretty young. We were just experimenting, and
Yeah, it was usually just, oh, you want to make a video? Yeah, sure. And then that's what it turned into. But
It majorly builds up to what we
yes,
have
and
now.
I've been doing some analysis on the videos, and I'll be damn surprised at how well they all fit together, and how well they correspond with each other in the later videos, but you guys will see that if we make more.
Go watch all the seasons,
We
especially
have-
season 5.
We have the seasons in playlists on our channel. You
Yes,
can
yes, we
see
do.
there's specific amounts of videos for each season.
About 20 videos each. They range from 3 to 10 and to even sometimes 20 or more minutes. But
Yeah,
I think it's definitely worth the watch if you guys are into a prolonged kind of story,
ARG.
suspenseful, especially including Slenderman and, you know, that kind of creepypasta stuff. I know that a lot of people who are subscribed to us like creepypasta. You know, the Maple Thorn series is another piece of work that we have put a lot of time and lots of effort. You know, we've been outside in the humidity of summer and the freezing cold temperatures of winter to make these videos, and we put a lot of time and effort into it, and we would appreciate it so much if you guys would watch them, because like I said, we put in so much effort, and you know, we put in everything we had into doing it. We've been to various places without sometimes without vehicles, without the proper attire. You know, we're freezing, we're having a heat flash or something, you know.
Yeah,
and
it's
there's no
just-
way to get out of there, but we stick through with it and make the video no matter what.
Yeah, so
for
it
your
takes.
entertainment.
So yeah, that's kind of why sometimes our little skits and our little short films kind of take a little bit of time, because
Exactly.
we are also busy as human beings are.
As
we
young
all
adults.
work at the same place.
But
But
we hope we
um,
still give out good videos for you guys.
Once again, feedback is necessary and very much appreciated. But with that said, this is Toyoso G, and we'll see you guys in the next video.
Maple Thorn Explained, seasons 1 and 2.
signing out.
Signing out.
Signing out.
Oh yeah.